AWS team. My name is Bhujraj, and today I will be presenting on S3, which is the architecture for hosting static websites over AWS cloud. Before moving to our main topic, firstly we will see what is cloud computing and why it is essential and what are the benefits of cloud computing over traditional computing. So, cloud computing is often an on-demand availability of the computer system resources, especially data storage and computing power, without the direct active management of the resources by the user. Here, in cloud computing, the individual or the organization or the government can take the cloud services from major cloud providers such as Amazon Web Service cloud providing to to access the resources from the AWS providers and make their websites and host it on AWS cloud. The major benefit of using the cloud computing is we have not to buy any kind of resources or anything. There is no physical attachment or the relations of the service providers and the users. Here, the service provider provides you with all the computing services including servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and internet over the intelligence over the internet, which is also known as the cloud. Now, what are the benefits of using cloud computing over the traditional computing? So, there are like many benefits of using cloud computing, but I will be listing some of the main benefits of using cloud computing over the traditional computing. So, cost cloud computing is cost saving, means here the resources which is needed or which are mostly used by the user has to pay for that services only. Secondly, cloud computing provides you and enhance you with the security, also known as SaaS or the SaaS architecture. Next, cloud computing is very flexible. It has mobility, insight, increased collaboration with other resources, with on-demand increasing of the cloud, less prevention, disaster recovery, as there is lot of backups of the projects or the files which are hosted on cloud computing. Now, let us move towards the AWS service. So, before moving towards our main topic, first we will see what is AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services, a cloud computing platform also known as a subsidiary of Amazon that provides on-demand cloud computing platforms and APIs to individuals, companies, and government on a metered pay-as-you-go basis. This is the main basis of AWS. Oftentimes, client will use this in combination with autoscaling. This reduces the traffic as well as the cost over the site. This cloud computing web service provides various services related to networking, computer, storage, IoT, middleware, and other processing tools, as well as software tools via AWS server farms, which basically provides you with all the AWS services. AWS farms are the leading and the most secure farms for utilizing the resources of AWS. The free client. This free the clients or the users which takes the AWS services from managing the resources, data, servers, and databases, and they can directly access the AWS services uh, without any kind of a middleware, so that the process keeps on running smooth at the client user. Now, let us come to our main topic, which is S3 architecture provided by AWS for hosting static websites over the AWS cloud. So S3 is basically a simple storage service, often abbreviated as S3 architecture of Amazon Web Services. So what is S3? Simple storage service. Now moving further in detail with simple storage service, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon S3, is an object storage service that offers industry-leading scalability, data availability, security, and performance. Customers of all sizes and industries can use Amazon S3 to store and protect any amount of data for a range of use cases, such as data lakes, websites, mobile application, backup and restore, archive, enterprises application, IoT device, and big data analytics. Amazon S3 provides management features so that you can optimize and organize and configure access to your data to meet your specialized and specific business, organization, and compliance requirement. So now we will see like what is an S3. S3 basically contains two things. First is an object. An object, what is an object? A file and any metadata that describes that file. Basically object is an entity or we can call it as a data which where we just store all the things or we make a file and create the data. And the next thing is to store this data at somewhere. So S3 provides you with S3 buckets. So what is bucket in S3? S3 buckets are logical container for storing these objects. Amazon S3 is an object storage service that stores data as object within the buckets. An object is a file or any metadata that describes the file, and a bucket is a container for that object. To store your data in Amazon S3, first of all, you will have to create the bucket bucket and specify the bucket name and AWS region where the bucket is to be saved on the AWS server. Then you can upload your data so that the bucket as object in Amazon S3. Each object has a key or a key name, which is a unique identifier for the objects within the bucket. S3 provides features that can help you configure and support your specific use cases and to set the properties and policies of every bucket. Buckets and the objects in them are private and can be accessed only if you explicitly grant the access permission. You can use bucket policies, AWS identities, and access management policies, and access control list, and S3 access point-to-point management manage access to set the properties and policies of the bucket. After completing all the three steps, now it's time to host your website on the AWS cloud platform. So we can directly copy the link for the bucket and host it on the website, which will help you to run your website on AWS. This is how a S3 architecture works in AWS to implement, create, upload, and run, and finally run your website over the AWS services. I hope I was clear enough to uh, tell you about the AWS S3 architecture. Thank you for your time and attention, AWS team. Thank you so much.